Hello again, everyone. So here's my second lesson. This was a small group reading lesson. I could also do it whole group. I have in the past, but in this particular case, most recently I did it in small group settings. Our main goal was cause and effect, and we used this article about amphibian populations declining to get across that skill. Each student read this article with me. I think thinking back on it now, I could have differentiated the text a little more and made sure to I could have changed it around a little bit, made it more challenging for my higher readers. Maybe took out some of the more challenging words for my lower readers, but in general, this was in my opinion, an on grade level text for general ed fifth grader. Um, as far as the tier one and tier two accommodations with this, I feel like I I didn't have much differentiation in the way that students were able to access the material. It was pretty straightforward. They just read. So maybe there was more ways that I could have presented the information to them. Um, we were in a small group, so they did have me there as support, uh, but the collaboration really wasn't there for this lesson as much as some of my other lessons that I like to have. Um, the presentation of how they showed off what they knew, I differentiated a little bit better than the article itself. This would be kind of my on grade level kiddos. I would give them one cause, they filled out the effect. I give them the effect, then they fill out the cause, and then they have to do one on their own. For my above grade level readers, I would just give them a blank cause and effect graphic organizer, and they would be expected to find it all out on their own. My below grade level readers, what I do with them for this lesson is I cut all these apart and they have to sort the causes and effects by themselves. With some scaffolding for me, I might give them the cause and then they have to match the effect. But for them, it is structured in a way where they have all of the information that they need and they are just in charge of dropping it in the right place. Transitioning this to an online setting, I think I would need to figure out what program would work best. Some of the tools that we discussed last week that we looked at, we could I could probably incorporate and get this more technology enhanced with a drag and drop type of situation. For my on grade level and above grade level, it would be just as simple as adding some text boxes in for them to type. So as far as after what they did with the graphic organizer, there were 5 questions to answer. The graphic organizer really helped them answer these five. They basically could have taken the info right from the graphic organizer and applied it straight to the multiple choice questions. So, ranking the accessibility of my lesson, I feel like my science lesson had a little bit better variety of accessibility for the kids through the PowerPoint, but trying out something different. I started with the Word document because this was uh, a Word document that I then converted to a PDF. So, as far as the tables go, I did have the cause and effect table organized into columns and rows, one side being cause, one side being effect. And it was pretty clear that this was just the top here. The one part about that I was thinking was, okay, so what I didn't do a great job of, if this was online and it was being read to the students as far as a screen reader goes, I don't know quite what would happen in the blank boxes. And I don't know that the order of the text I have. So I feel like while my table's format looks good on paper, transferred online, I don't know how good it would be for a screen reader with a kiddo with a uh, who needs that audio for an accommodation. The color, I highlighted that one as something that was fine. I feel like I didn't convey any meaning through color, and I felt like it was a sufficient contrast. So kiddos with the visual impairments would be able to easily access the information that they were reading. Um, the next screen here I had for a checklist was just the accessible PDFs. I converted it from Word to PDF document, like I said. So that's why I had that one highlighted there. Um, Moving on to the three principles for this lesson, I was able to highlight some of the examples from Rice's text. Um, in the first principle, I said multiple examples and non-examples to highlight the learning. I had three cause and effect relationships that I pulled from the text. We may have even been able to find one or two more, but these were the three major. So there was multiple examples of it. I didn't have any non-examples of cause and effect relationships to help out with the learning. That may be something I could have done to foster a conversation, giving a non-example and saying, well, is this a cause-effect relationship and how do you know? Outlines and organizers for key ideas. All of my reading lessons always have a graphic organizer to go with it that help kids organize the key ideas, so I highlighted that. Providing multiple entry points through flexible paths uh, through the content. The reason why I highlighted that is because I felt like giving kids the differentiated organizers, depending on their reading level, was an example of having flexible paths to get to the same point of identifying these cause-effect relationships. Maybe for my lower readers, even I might not even have the multiple choice questions at the end. So, um, in principle two, the providing multiple means of expressing understanding using spell check, grammar check, calculators, sentence starters, and concept mapping. I have the reason why I highlighted that was the concept mapping. Even the sentence starters for my lower readers, a lot of times we go back to effect is the what, causes why it happened, and really starting off a sentence by saying this happened because. I've also used the when then structure. When this happens, then this happens to help kind of drive home that cause and effect relationship. Um, so that's why I had that third example highlighted. I also highlighted the fourth example using different models that result in the same outcome. Again, back to the differentiated graphic organizers for this lesson. So the third principle, multiple means of engagement, providing authentic and purposeful outcomes was the first thing that I highlighted just because I felt like the text was a real life example of an issue that's happening in our world. And it also alluded to at the end that this amphibian problem could signal bigger problems to come for our environment. So, just thought that that was an authentic text to use that touches on some real world problems that are going on. Encouraging active participation, exploration, experimentation. I feel like the way I encourage participation through this is they're held accountable for filling out their graphic organizer while they're reading the text with me. So the fifth one example that I highlighted from the text was providing opportunities to collaborate. I do allow my students to share their thinking, how they know it's a cause, how they know it's an effect during the small group. Most of it's done independently, but there are points for collaboration where kids can share what they thought, as well as with the multiple choice questions, they can share their thinking behind why they chose a certain question. So the final checklist that I went through, again, I put yellow squares around where I thought I met the universal design for learning guidelines. My strongest for this one, I felt like was the representation, where I offered ways of customizing and displaying the information and offered alternatives for auditory information. Again, in this one, I feel like I missed out on the alternatives for visual information. This is all visual 100%. So I would need to figure out a way to get this to be an alternative for visual as well for any kiddos with visual impairments. Um, Other than that, I felt like my biggest lack was the self-regulation in this one. It was pretty much regulated by me telling them if they were right or wrong, or each other, like peers telling each other their thoughts and why they were right or wrong. So I feel like I didn't really have much self-regulation from an engagement standpoint, where kiddos could kind of reflect on, how they think they're doing self-assessment wise. Um, so just overall, the reading I felt like was pretty one-sided to visual learners and didn't really have much accessibility for auditory learners. And that would be something that I would need to address when merging this to an online setting for sure.